You can see it's quite happy to flick around the screen. Now I've got home screen selection. I've got a home screen. You get into the primary launcher for the tablet. It's basically panels based. Application bar is there. You can search through your applications and all, which actually is a good feature. I like that feature. We've got all the various applications. I say this is running a custom build. It's my own version of the OS. It's got a few performance tweaks and generally things like that. I haven't enabled what I did have previously enabled, which enabled me to get a 3000 quadrant score on here. For those of you who actually know what quadrant is, you'll know that's quite a good score. I'm not going to go and try and run it now because I don't have it installed. Linpark gets about the same score, if not a little bit less than what the Streak gets currently, but that's probably because it's not optimised for the dual-core CPU. And neither is Froyo for that matter. Honeycomb is optimised for dual-core. This isn't. These panels are actually a really good feature, because you can drag things like your browser. You can grab all of it and drag it onto the desktop. Loads up a panel in the background, which actually lets you, if I press Google, load and say search for stuff inside of your home screen, which is a brilliant idea in my opinion. Why couldn't anybody else think of this on big screens? Dell, I'm looking at you. Get rid of Stage and bring something like this along. This I might actually use if you were to bring something like this along, Dell. It doesn't actually do anything, but we have, of course, got full YouTube videos. It's full Flash 10.1 with HD video support. Just a high difference there. I'll go back in and I'll drag settings across. This is like the power control widget you can get for normal home screens on steroids when you do this. Let's put the device back in Pixel QI. Gives you a better idea of what it looks like. That's in full Pixel QI mode, and you can see from the, it's what's classed, I think, as a reflective screen, similar to what ebook readers use. It's what it's supposed to be aiming for. As you can see, we've got Wi-Fi, 3G data, Bluetooth, volume, brightness. I'll just do a run of song and let you hear how bright this actually is. If I've got any on here, I think I took my memory card out. Oh no, I haven't. It's all good. I'll pick through some of the stuff that isn't full of swear words. Yeah, I've got a rather weird taste in music myself. I like all the old rock music. I'll go for some Michael Jackson, I think. The scrolling response is absolutely brilliant. We'll go for some Jacko. As you can hear, that's on half volume. I don't know how well that comes out, but I'll have to get into a bit of the song. That's on about half volume. Turn it up all the way. That is quite adequate to hear people on. I'll just pause that. And I'm just going to connect it up to HDMI for you. You just have to bear with me one moment while I do this. Back in a second. Yeah, you're back. As you can see, this device, unlike every other HDMI device nearly, does what I prefer for HDMI. It outputs everything. The whole thing runs across two displays. So if I, for example, go into the browser, you can't get into when it's as loaded as a tab, which is quite annoying. Just load down the main launcher. You can do a 2-finger swipe down to actually get it to do that. I'll go into the primary browser. We'll go to YouTube. As far as I can tell, the audio isn't outputted through HDMI. I don't know if that's just this device or if it's something entirely different. But it doesn't seem to output it over the HDMI connection. But as you can see, it's letting us quite happily type stuff in. And both screens are actually working. Unlike some where they disable it when you use other things. If I go into there, I'll just try this video since the one I know works. Scroll down, we've got 27 million views on this particular video, which is quite phenomenal. Full screen it. You can see when it eventually decides to catch up. Go. No, it has output over HDMI this time. Didn't the other day, but that's fine. You can see the quality outputted is something else. I'm not going to let it play the full video, but I'll let it get in the main thing so you can see the actual quality output of it. And this does actually run in full HD quality as well. It's not just some crappy half HD connector. It is, oh no, it is running at 720 at the minute. I had it running 1080 the other day. Must think I was watching a 1080 video. Which I'll show next. That's about enough of that, I think. We'll go back to the home screen. And there's another brilliant feature on the home screen of this device, which is just, I could mess around with most of the day. If you hold down the home button, it goes into what's known as the select launcher feature, where it's basically Apple's cover flow on steroids. So it just scrolls through whatever launcher options you want. And I'll just drop it back to there. We'll go back into where we were. Now, as you can see, we've got various different stuff here. I'll load up the market. Just show it is actually cloning everything over to the main screen. Anyway, this is all running on battery also. And you can see in the top corner there, you can't very well on that one. Just expand the status bar. There's a status bar up there which has the battery in one corner and everything else in the other. There's no clock. We've got everything there. I'll just download something everybody's been wanting to see. Don't quite get why it's such an addictive game. This I've never really got into it. A lot of people seem to like it, so I was going to try Asphalt, but multiple SD cards seem to confuse it. And saying as this device actually has the setup for 3. So it has one for the internal storage, one for the SD, and then one for USB drives, which is something no other device does quite well. It also, now with my modifications, supports